Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how to clean your tack. As most of you know, we have our first horse show coming up this weekend. It will be a lot of our riders' first time to show and clean their own tack. So I'm going to show you all of the items I've drug out today, and then we'll talk about in detail how to clean those items. First, we have my boots, and you might be wondering why there's two pairs, and that's because I can't decide what pair I want to wear. So I will be cleaning both of them. Behind my boots is my Western pad. It's fairly clean already, so I probably won't have to do very much to it. Then we have our Western saddle, my English saddle. This bag back here is all of my English pads. Back over here we have my English bridle and Pippin's show halter. And then over here we just have some cleaning supplies. We're gonna start with the Western saddle. I like to keep an old horse brush and my cleaning supplies that I don't use on the horses anymore, just in case the tack is dusty. I like to brush the dust off of it first before I start cleaning it with the oils. I've got 3 different cleaning supplies that I will probably rotate between. This is just a basic generic everything leather cleaner that most of the students will be using. It is a spray. So for the students, you just want to spray some of this onto a cloth and then simply rub everything that is leather down on your saddle. A couple other options we have. This is a pre-soaked cloth, and I use this just on the daily. Every time I'm done riding, I pull one of these out really quick, wipe my saddle down to keep it maintained and fresh. This one here is a more in-depth cleaner. It's a 3-in-1 Lexol cleaner. So has the regular soap, it has conditioning, and then it has a protection coat as well. And this is the one I'll probably mostly use today because it's the most in-depth. So if I have a cleaner that I don't use every day, I just follow the basic directions on the back, which says to shake it up really good. And then I'm gonna apply a small amount onto my rag, and then I'm just gonna scrub all of the leather. Now my saddle, or my seat itself on the saddle is not leather, so I won't put any of the leather cleaner on a part of the saddle that's not leather. I'll probably just wipe that down with a damp cloth, or like I said earlier, brush it off with an old brush. So as you can see here, I took the stirrup off of the stirrup leather, and I did a good deep cleaning on all these pieces. Right here on my saddle is where it stays bent a lot, and since I'm the only one that rides in my saddle, it stays pretty much at the same length. And this is where your leather will start to crack, so it's really important to take it apart and give these pieces that are usually bent a really good conditioning. If you don't, then over time this is where leather will begin to crack or break, and you definitely don't want that to happen, especially while you're riding. I also took apart the leather, the stirrup keeper. These get rusted pretty easily on mine because I don't ever take them off because I keep my stirrups at one length, and oiled it down really good. Now I'm going to put all of this back together. Now we're going to work on the English saddle. I'm going to use the same soap and rag on the English that I used on the Western because, as I said earlier, this is just a more detailed cleaning soap, so I mostly use it whenever I'm preparing for shows. My English saddle is completely leather, so I will use this soap over the entire saddle, on the top, underneath in the crevices, and also on the bottom layers as well. Next, I'm going to do my girth. Now I'm going to work on the bridle. On the bridle and the girth, I do the same process I did on the saddles. I add some soap to my rag and I just scrub all the leather parts. Now for the bit, I'm going to take it off of the bridle and let it soak in some warm water. There's some stuff that just needs to come off of it from it being in his mouth. So after you ride, if you just take a rag and wipe your bit off every time you're done riding, it'll keep from anything building up on the bit, and then you don't have to do this so often. Just a little tip there. So for any bridles that have any extra stuff on them that won't come off, we'll have to take them off the bridles, put them in a bucket of warm water, maybe a little bit of soap, let them sit, and then dry them off, and they should be good to go. Now I'm going to do the same process for Pippin's show halter. Now I'm going to work on my boots. I have some specific cream that I use for my boots. It literally is called boot cream, but you can use any of the products I showed you today. Any type of leather product should be good on your boots, assuming that they are a leather product. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the cream on the same rag I've been using and wipe the boots off. They are a little bit dusty, as you can see. So I'm also going to get my horse brush, brush the dust off, and then apply the cream. This is what I keep my English pads in, and I've got a couple of them in here. And my rose gold pad and my white dressage pad. Neither one of these are actually my show pads, but I might use the white one, or somebody might use it depending on who needs what. So I'm just gonna go through this bag. I've got some boots and stuff in the bottom of it too. I also have a ear cover and the boots. So just gonna kind of go through this bag. If any of the saddle pads need to be washed, the English pads, they just go in the washing machine. If you don't have a washing machine to use for yours, you can wash them by hand and leave them out to air dry. So that's what I'm gonna do next, is dig through all the saddle pads and decide which ones need to be used for the show on Saturday. The last thing I'm going to clean today are my jump boots for the jumping portion of the show. I also have a separate pair of boots that I will use for the Western events in the show. So if they're leather, I'll just clean them up with the leather cleaner like I did everything else. And if they are cloth, I will either throw them in the wash or wash them by hand and leave them out to dry. So thank you guys so much for watching today. Please leave any comments on questions you might have on getting your tack and yourself prepared and show ready. We hope that this was helpful for you guys, and we will see you in the next video.